So we have a equals the square root of b, and we want to make b the subject of the formula. So how do we undo a square root? What we do is we square both sides. So a becomes a squared, and if we square the square root, we just get, in this case, b. So b equals a squared. Now what happens if we have other things with the square root? So x equals so x equals 3 times the square root of yz, and we want to make y the subject of the formula. Now I'm going to square both sides, and that gives me x squared here. I've got to square the 3, that gives me a 9, and if I square the square root, I just get yz. Now I want y to be the subject, so I'm going to have to get rid of the 9 and the z. I'm going to divide both sides by 9z and turn the equation round, so y equals x squared over 9z. So t equals 1 over 4 times the square root of g over h. I want to make h the subject of the formula. Now, I think what I'm going to do here is, you can see that this is not inside the square root, so we can deal with that dividing 4. I'm going to multiply by 4. So 4t equals square root of g over h. I'm then going to square both sides. So, need to be careful here. 4 squared is 16. T squared is t squared, and that gives us g over h. Now, that's what we want to be the subject. So I think what we need to do is to get rid of the fraction again. We've got a dividing h, so let's multiply by h. That gives us 16 t squared h equals g. And we need to get rid of this here, which is multiplying. So we'll divide by 16t squared, and h then is g over 16t squared. Here's a different type. So ax plus bx equals c. What we want to do is to let x be the subject of the formula. Now, you'll notice that we have an x in both terms. How do we get 1x where previously we had 2? What we have to do is to take out a common factor. So x a plus b bracket equals c. How do I get x on its own? Well, this whole bracket here, that's a multiplying quantity. So I'm going to divide by a plus b. And x equals c over bracket a plus b. So what if we have a equals 2x plus 1 over x minus 3, and I want to get x to be the subject? Well, this is a bit problematic. I want to get rid of the fraction first of all. So we've got an x on the top and we've got an x on the bottom. We have to get those x's together somehow. I'm going to multiply by x minus 3. So a lots of x minus 3 equals 2x plus 1. Now, you may remember from a previous video, I think it was video 2, if the desired subject is inside a bracket, we have to expand the bracket. So ax minus 3a equals 2x plus 1. I want to get the 2x terms together. So what I'm going to do is ax take away 2x minus 3a equals 1. I'm going to get rid of this term. 1 plus 3a. Now, how do we get one x term where previously we had 2? I'm going to take out a common factor. And the last thing to do is to get rid of the bracket. So x then, when I say get rid of the bracket, I mean get the x on its own. X equals 1 plus 3a over a minus 2. The formula for the volume of a cylinder is V equals pi r squared h. So what we want to do in this problem is work out what happens if we double r and we double h. Okay, so I'm going to call the new volume V star. I'm going to plug these values into the formula. So r squared, so r becomes 2r and h becomes 2h. Now if 2r times 2r is 4r squared times 2h, 2 times 4, I'm going to multiply these quantities and move the 8 to the front. Now, this here is the same as this, which is V. So what we have here is V star, the new volume, is 8 times the old volume. That's the effect of doubling the radius and doubling the height.